for that Ren Faire fix and are willing to travel many miles, well, you can take a step back in time every weekend. Bienvenue. Welcome to Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier, where we will discover the tales, trials, and talents of Renaissance Festival performers, merchants, and die-hard attendees as we journey by way of light-hearted and even at times heartwarming conversations about the Renaissance Festival world. I am your host, Theodore Jander, aka King Francois Premier. Bonjour. Welcome to Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier. I am your host, Theodore Jander. In this short episode, I will be highlighting the names and upcoming February and March dates for a number of Renaissance festivals here in the U.S. Though past, there were a few 1 and 2 weekend only Ren Faires in January. Let it be known that at least one Renaissance festival occurs each weekend of the year, or almost every weekend. The one exception would be the weekend right before or after Christmas, depending on what day Christmas falls. That is when you would not be able to find a Renaissance festival. Needless to say, if you are longing for that Ren Faire fix and are willing to travel many miles, well, you can take a step back in time every weekend, if you so choose. As the year progresses, you can often find 3 or more Renaissance festivals taking place on a given weekend, thus providing potential options closer to where you live. I will be including the website addresses and the full run dates for the mentioned festivals in the show notes. Also included will be a Facebook page for the festival in the event that they have one such page. Therefore, we shall begin. First, we head to the Brevard Renaissance Fair in Melbourne, Florida. Opening weekend was January 7th, and it concludes this Sunday, February 5th, with a Celtic-themed weekend. The setting for this fair is that of the Shire of Wickham. We venture to Opelousas, Louisiana, to visit the village of Blaine for the Acadiana Renaissance Fête, which began on January 14th and finishes up on February 12th. This weekend, February 4th and 5th, is the Time Traveler Weekend theme. And the final weekend of February 11th and 12th is Mardi Gras weekend. Pull up your bootstraps as we make our way to Kerrville, Texas for the Kerrville Renaissance Festival, which began its 2023 season on January 21st and draws to a close this Sunday, February 5th. We continue heading west to Yuma, Arizona for the 1 weekend only Two Rivers Renaissance Fair, which begins with festivities today, February 3rd, and wraps up on Sunday, February 5th. The Two Rivers Renaissance Fair is set in the village of Tamsenbrook. Our Ren Faire journey keeps us in Arizona, specifically Apache Junction, for the Arizona Renaissance Festival, where you will visit the village of Fairhaven. Opening weekend kicks off tomorrow, February 4th. The festival will be open each weekend through April 2nd. One would think with the winter weather up north, attending a Renaissance festival could be rather chilly. Fear not, the Vermont Winter Renaissance Fair, this weekend only, February 4th and 5th, is held indoors for those 2 days at the Champlain Valley Exposition in Essex Junction, Vermont. From Vermont, we return south to Florida. Opening tomorrow, February 4th, and running each weekend through March 19th is the Florida Renaissance Festival in Deerfield Beach. As you walk through the gates into the village of Kimmendale, be ready for their opening weekend theme, the Wizarding World's Fair, a magical grand opening. Staying in Florida, our travels take us to Dade City, Florida for the Bay Area Renaissance Festival. This fair opens on February 18th and takes place each weekend through April 2nd. There you will find yourself traveling back in time to the village of Fiddlesworth. That concludes the February starting dates. Now we move on to festivals that begin in March. Milton, Florida is our next destination for the one weekend only Gulf Coast Renaissance Fair and Pirate Festival on March 4th and 5th. The era of Robin Hood brings us to McDade, Texas for the Sherwood Forest Fair, set in, Sherwood Forest and Nottinghamshire, and runs each weekend from March 4th through April 23rd. We venture a little further north on March 11th through 12th to Veneta, Oklahoma, for the one weekend only Grand Lake Renaissance Festival set in the village of Queensferry, Scotland. A side note, this event is now indoors at the Craig County Fairgrounds and Community Center. However, the following weekend, March 18th and 19th, Veneta, Oklahoma hosts the outdoor one weekend only Queensferry Renaissance Festival, also set in Queensferry, Scotland in the year of 1540. On the same weekend of March 18th and 19th, but farther west in Hesperia, California, you can attend the High Desert Pirate Fair with a Renaissance flair. The next 4 festivals all take place on the weekend of March 24th through 26th. Yes, you heard me correctly. 2 out of the 4 begin with festivities on Friday, March 24th. So, we head southeast to Greenville, Alabama for the Alabama Medieval Fantasy Festival, where you can step back in time to the year 820 and the Kingdom of Dragoncroft. Or you can return to Oklahoma on March 24th through 26th for the Guthrie Renaissance Fair in Guthrie, Oklahoma. If you would rather venture more westerly, head to the New Mexico Renaissance Celtic Festival in Edgewood, New Mexico, also March 24th through 26th. Feeling more piratical? Set sail for North Las Vegas, Nevada for Pirate Fest Las Vegas, your 4th and final March 25th through 26th option. We close out the month of March with 2 possibilities. First, we could travel to Lake Havasu City, Arizona for the London Bridge Renaissance Fair, March 31st through April 2nd. Or lastly, we could journey back to Oklahoma for the Medieval Fair of Norman in Norman, Oklahoma, from March 31st through April 2nd. A side note, this fair is one of a few free medieval fairs in the U.S. Well, that wraps up this installment of Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier, and I do hope you enjoyed this informative episode. To find out more about the festivals mentioned, check out their links in the show notes. Stay tuned for next week's episode to be released on Friday, February 10th, where I will bring you another brief episode highlighting the names of several Renaissance Festival Facebook groups. These groups provide a wonderful opportunity to connect with fellow Renaissance Festival folk from around the world all year long. If you are a performer, merchant, staff, or diehard patron in or of the Renaissance Festival world, and would like to be featured on Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier, reach out to me by way of clicking on the following link provided in the show notes: www.theodorejander.com/coffeetalkpodcast. Would you like to receive early access every week to each new episode, as well as receive a behind-the-scenes glimpse into the production and creative process for the podcast? If so, join the wonderful community of listeners supporting the show and making new things possible through Patreon. Learn more at www.patreon.com/Coffee Talk with King Francois. The link will be provided in the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning in to Coffee Talk with King Francois Premier. Have a great weekend and a great week. A bientôt. See you soon. Ciao for now and au revoir.